Welcome back to episode 4 of our ICF build. Behind me, as you can see, there's a lot to unpack because our last video covered the footers. So let's just dive right in. So we're gonna take us all the way back to where we left off with the footers. Right after the footers were poured, we went right to stacking. Early on, I figured I wanted to do a 2-phase pour. Phase 1 is stacking 4 blocks tall, pouring that, and then backfilling. So that's exactly what we did. So it went up pretty fast, really simple process. And these first 4 courses got us to where our slab height is going to be. After we poured the first 4 courses, I had my excavators come back in. We brought in about 700 tons of this material. With that material, we ended up putting it in the front, the back, and in the inside. We'll bring in about 1 to 2 feet of material, compact that with a plate compactor, and then we'll bring in another 2 feet. And we'll continue that all the way up until we're at our slab height or where we need it to be. As soon as all of that was installed and looking really nice, we got to phase 2 of stacking the ICF block. Now, before I continue with phase 2, the reason why we do that is because it allows us to have a very flat and smooth surface to work on. When we need to use a ladder, it just goes right on the ground against the block, super easy. Or when we're setting up braces, those braces go down into a very flat surface. We're not having to maneuver through a trench or having to adjust where a brace goes because there's no flat ground. It's just a lot easier to work in the space. That's why we ended up doing the 2 phases. Now with the second phase, it was very similar to the first phase. What we do is we stack about 4 to 5 courses. Once we get to that height, that's when we want to start tossing on our vertical braces. Now once you get to a certain height, you can start putting all of the planking in, and then you can work on top of the planking. So somebody down on the ground will be cutting block and tossing it up to the person that is on the planking. It makes it really easy to work. You're not gonna have to move your ladder every block you wanna stack. After we got everything installed, we went back and filled all of the cracks with foam. Now, inevitably with this product, there's going to be cracks. There's no way to avoid that. We just go back, we foam all of the common joints, all of the cracks around the windows and the doors, any spots where the blocks maybe got damaged. And then after that, we strap everything. So we rip down about a 4-inch by whatever length of a 3/4 inch plywood, and we strap every common joint as well as every window to the next ICF block. When you look at this, there's tons of little strips of wood, but that's what essentially holds everything together and in place during the pour. And it keeps everything on plane. Throughout this entire ICF project, we had to put rebar in. To build this house prescriptively, it requires a horizontal piece of rebar, continuous, all the way around the walls, every other course. Everywhere you see one of these orange dots is a vertical piece of rebar. Those are to essentially match from where they come out in the footing. So there's essentially a piece of vertical rebar all the way from the footer all the way to the very top. Once all of the rebar was put in and complete, it was pour day. Pour day. It was relatively stressful just because the nature of pouring an ICF house, but we had 0 blowouts for this entire project, which is great. Now, as soon as we're done pouring all of the walls, we go through and we set all of our truss brackets. We set up our laser and we put those perfectly on plane. So every single truss bracket, regardless of if the wall height varies, all of the truss brackets sit on the exact same plane through the whole house. And then that led us to truss day. Setting trusses is so fast when you have these brackets in. Our truss supplier showed up with a crane truck. We started flying trusses about 8:30, and we were done by around noon, setting all these trusses. They're all fastened and braced and ready to go. So that's why I like the brackets. And finally, as you can see on the outside, all of the truss system is covered in Huber zip product. We did a 7/16 zip product on the side, on the gable ends. And then on the roof, we did a 5/8 red zip product. Everything on top of that was covered with zip tape and rolled. So since we're looking at it, I'll talk about this too. This, as you can tell, is radiant tubing. Every room, the garage, those rooms, and every individual room in the ADU has its own zone, so every room can be kept at its specific temperature, which is kind of cool. After we got everything leveled out and ready, after the plumbing was installed, we put down a 15 mil vapor barrier. We tape all of the seams. On top of this, we added 2 layers of R10 foam. So we have effectively an R20 underneath the slab. So that's the current state of the ADU. So we have a lot of really cool stuff coming up that I'm excited to share with you guys. I'm sure I missed something, so please, if you have any questions, drop it in the comment. I'm happy to answer any questions or any concerns, something that kind of stood out that didn't really make much sense. I'm happy to clarify. So I'm gonna wrap it up there. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.